Flight Games, and we're gonna check out this rad Marvel Champions game today.
Hello.
Awesome. So can you start off just by telling us, like, what is Marvel Champions? What's going on with it?
Yeah, Marvel Champions, it's a 1 to 4 player cooperative LCG. In the game, everybody is going to take on the role of a single Marvel hero and their alter ego.
Tight.
And they're going to be working together with their friends and trying to take down a villain. So we've got the Rhino tutorial scenario here. And the villain Rhino, he is trying to complete a scheme. In this one, he's going to be trying to break into a shield facility. And the players are trying to stop him and take him down before he completes his scheme.
Okay, so, like, what are some of the goals of Marvel Champion? Like, is the main goal for the heroes just to stop him, or are there, like, side goals or, like, temporary goals going on in the game as well?
Yeah, so there are, the main goal is to stop the villain.
Just to stop.
So, yeah, if you defeat the villain and
Get him
this will be
gone.
tracking his health, then you're going to win.
Cool.
Kind of what he's going to be doing, though, as he's trying to complete this scheme is, they're called side schemes. So this is his main scheme, but he's also going to be throwing out
Side schemes.
side schemes to
Yes.
try to distract the heroes and make them burn resources doing things
Okay.
that they'd rather be going after him, but he's trying, like happens in these stories, there's all kinds of diabolical plans going on. So in this one, there's a bomb scare, and there's one called crowd control where innocents are in danger and you have to get them to safety.
Crap,
So
okay.
these are going to be coming out as you're playing the game so that you can't just single-mindedly focus, because these will, if too many of these get in play, they're going to just
Right, you gotta, like,
overwhelm
hero
you. So-
multitask.
Yeah, you gotta run around and
That's
kind
cool.
of save people. So these are more, they're not the main goals, but they're secondary goals that you're gonna have to balance them with trying to just defeat the villain.
That's cool. And I noticed the art on the cards kind of makes all the cards look like a frame in a comic book. What were some of the goals you had for the design, like
For just
art
the design of the game.
Yeah.
So we kind of had this very early on in the design. We kind of had this sense of every turn is a new frame. So we kind of designed the game inspired by the comics, where we wanted fast, punchy turns where you get in, you play out your hand of cards, and then you get out on the other side. Another thing that was really important to us as we were working on the game was the idea of empowerment, and this is a really important theme for Marvel. These characters, they come into great power, but then they have to deal with the responsibility of that power and the consequences and unwanted attention. So they draw the attention of supervillains that want to take them down. So we really wanted a game that made players feel empowered and feeling like what they were doing had high impact on the game.
Yeah, it feels like an empowered story.
Yeah.
Like, just so you're taking down the villain, but it's like you got all these other side schemes going on. You have, like, a goal with your character. Like, it's pretty
Yep.
cool. It's almost like you're making, like, a movie or a story while you're playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think too, like the fact that you start as your alter ego, and it's just kind of you're just a regular Peter Parker, but then you can transform into Spider-Man, and your power just kind of emerges when you make that transformation. But then if you go back to Peter Parker, you can't do the Spider-Man stuff again.
Right,
so,
right.
so every time you transform into your hero, you kind of have that moment of you just feel like you've turned into a superhero.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's kind of
All right, so, like, branching off of that, what are some things you did in the game to capture the different feels between the heroes and the villains?
Yeah, so they're playing as the two sides of the character is a big part of it. But then every hero has a set of cards that are exclusive to that hero. Cool. So these are cards that when I'm playing as Spider-Man, that's the only time I'll be able to use these
Right,
cards.
yeah, so, like, Captain
And-
Marvel can't just, like, use the web slinger
Yeah,
or whatever.
and Captain Marvel has her own card, and She-Hulk and Iron Man and Black Panther. Everybody has their own set.
know what they're
of
gonna do, and they're
special
really good at
cards.
doing it.
Yeah, and so these are the cards that really define who that character
Cool.
is, both thematically, like the web kicks and webbed up, and Aunt May is in
Web
here.
kicks, that's bad. Wait, do webs come out of his feet? Web
No,
kicks?
we call it swinging web kick. It's kind of the idea is he's swinging
while
down
you're
on
swinging.
he's swinging down on
That's cool.
on a web and launching into the villain with his
That
feet,
is excellent.
so,
Oh,
yeah.
and the card looks really cool too. It literally just looks like a frame of a comic book of, like, Spider-Man just kicking Rhino in the face. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. I don't know if they can see it, but, like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so visually that was kind of, we really tried to go for like a comic-y art style, and even some of like the little story text on the card
I see that,
is a
yeah.
comic font, and the traits, and humor was another big thing that we were really trying to trying to work into the game, and She-Hulk's a good example of that. So Marvel does a great job. They keep their tone light and fun and kind of just entertaining by working humor into their stories. So we tried to do the same thing in the game. So we were talking about She-Hulk's ability before.
Yeah, I see that, and then her alter ego.
Yeah, so her alter ego side, Jennifer Walters is an attorney, so her alter ego ability is called I Object. But then She-Hulk, her ability is it deals damage to the villain, and every time she does that, she asks the villain, "Do you even lift?"
Do you even lift?
Yes.
The answer is
So
always no.
Probably not.
They absolutely don't.
Yeah.
Especially not compared to her. She's like, all right.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious though. Also that in the alter ego, she still has like green skin. Are people not like, oh well, she's green? So
that's an interesting thing about
it's pretty cool.
The difference like Hulk. A lot of people know Hulk because he's been in movies and TV shows, but She-Hulk's kind of a lesser known character, and that was part of why we chose her. Is like there's some interesting differences, and so when she's in her kind of alter ego form, she's still often green, and at the same time, when she's in her She-Hulk form, she's not completely raged out. She can still talk and interact, and she kind of plays she doesn't take the Hulk.
Control over
her she has more control, and the extremes
like,
aren't the same as Hulk.
It's like totally completely opposite going on. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've gone through Spider-Man, we've gone through some She-Hulk. What are all the heroes that are in the game?
So there's 5 heroes in the core set, but there will be a lot more coming down the road. Cool. So the Spider-Man and Captain Marvel are kind of they're like the starter decks. They're the ones that are encouraged for the first game. They're probably the 2 most straightforward, easiest to play and get into.
Okay.
But then there's also 3 other heroes. So Spider-Man is with the Peter Parker alter ego.
Right.
Captain Marvel is with Carol Danvers.
Right.
We talked about She-Hulk, and we have Jennifer Walters. Iron Man here with Tony Stark, and Black Panther with T'Challa.
Cool.
So every one of them, they all have their own. They all have unique play styles. With Jennifer Walters, she's kind of she's probably the most aggressive, the best one for really kind of going directly at the villain.
She's like a
and
tank.
Fighting him. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Tony Stark, you have to build the Iron Man suit before, so he starts.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, he starts out pretty weak, and then he has an ability. You get +1, so his hand size it only starts at 1 in Iron Man.
Right, but
so
you
get 1 card, but then your hand size will increase as you build more tech upgrades.
That's so cool. That's really cool.
So you
want to.
Yeah. So early on in the game, you're going to be Tony Stark trying to build the Iron Man suit, and you want to get as many tech upgrades as you can. Once you feel you have enough, that's when you come out as Iron Man, and then you can start doing things. Yeah.
And then what about T'Challa?
T'Challa, Black Panther. He's a very tactical play. So his whole thing is built around these Black Panther upgrades, and he has an event card. I think there's 5 copies of his deck called Wakanda Forever. So you want to get these upgrades into play first, and then you're going to play Wakanda Forever, and it lets you use them in any order.
Dominoes. Oh, any order. Any order.
So in different situations, there'll be different orders that you want to do them. So it kind of represents like his tactical brilliance, and he's a very dynamic, jumps around, does a lot of cool attacks.
Super flexible.
And
cool.
you get a really martial sense of kind of I'm both outsmarting and fighting the villain at the same time.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then you said earlier that Captain Marvel and Spider-Man are some of the easiest ones to get into. How easy is the general game as far as approaching it?
Yeah,
as
so
like a serious gamer, like casual gamer, like
we tried to strike a balance there. Like I think a lot of Marvel content, like it's kind of one thing that's really cool about it is you will see a lot of adults who have younger children kind of both enjoying comics or movies or Marvel gaming together, and that was kind of our goal. We wanted a game that adults could sit down and wrap their heads around and get a good challenge and a good story out of. But if they had say children who were a little bit younger but were interested in Marvel, they'd be able to play together, and we wanted something that would kind of resonate with both audiences. So it is the entry. There's a little bit to learn in terms of like how the cards interact and the decks work, but it can be explained in about 10 to 15 minutes, and I think with a little help, someone who's not a very experienced gamer can really get into the game.
And it's cooperative. So
yes, it's cooperative. So as you're playing,
that's
you're
great
also
too,
able to help one another.
If you're bringing in people like kids who are not super like equipped with like huge gaming knowledge, the fact that it's cooperative, you can like walk them through it all together. So you're all trying to achieve one goal, as opposed to if you have your child and they're supposed to try to win, and you're like, well, I'm trying to win, and everyone's like, what's happening? Having this be cooperative, it makes it a lot easier. It's more accessible to people, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree totally. Like I think that's
awesome.
Yeah.
And then also, I was wondering, so you got the heroes and the alter egos here. Why did you guys make the decision to play as both the heroes and the alter egos? Like, what are some of the struggles that the alter egos face when they're playing this game?
Yeah. Okay. So I think the main reason we decided to it is because it's such a central part of who these characters are. Right. And you talked a little bit about wanting to create a sense of role playing and making people feel that they were the character they're playing. Yeah. And if you only have the hero side, that's only half the story.
Right,
and
exactly.
A big part of what I think draws people to Marvel is that both the hero and the alter ego character they have fully developed personalities, and people are invested in who those characters are.
And you play the game as both of them because they each have different skills that are attest to whether they're an alter ego or a hero.
Yeah. So different skills are different things that they focus on and emphasize. So as you're playing, they're going to be spending a lot of time. Like it is a hero game, so you're going to be spending most of the time usually in hero mode. That's kind of going to be your preferred mode, and when you're fighting Rhino or going after the schemes, you're going to want to be in hero form. But there are things that you can do in your alter ego mode. One of them is the recovery value. So like if you just have a bad day out being a superhero and you get hurt a little bit, you can go back to your alter ego and you can recover health. They have abilities like Peter Parker is a scientist. He can generate mental resources once per round, so he's kind of doing research. And then the other thing that happens occasionally in the game, we have obligation cards. These are the
where are those?
These are cards they get shuffled into the encounter deck, and then when you're playing that hero, where did Spider-Man's obligation go? Oh, here it is.
I got it.
Yep. So it has the same color back as the rest of the encounter cards, but this is a Spider-Man card. So when I'm playing Spider-Man, I have to shuffle this card into the encounter deck. Okay. And this one is the eviction notice. So Peter Parker is always having trouble paying his bills, and he's always dealing with because
he's always dealing with monsters, and you don't get paid for that.
Yep. Okay. So if this comes up, they're going to give it to me as the Spider-Man player, and I got an eviction notice. Now I'm going to have to turn into Peter Parker to deal with this card, or if not, it's kind of going to be a burden.
I was going to ask you, like, are the alter egos pretty much always doing like the side schemes? Is that pretty much always alter egos, or are you also sometimes doing that as a hero?
You're doing them usually as a hero. So it's the obligations are the ones that the alter egos are doing. The side schemes are they're kind of like the bomb scares and the
so like people who are setting up evil while the main villain is doing something else. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. But yeah, the obligation cards are almost always focused on the alter ego. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
The other thing that I think helps really kind of make the characters feel unique, we have these, there's some villains that are associated with them too.
Oh, really?
So,
do you have to shuffle those into their deck as well when you're playing?
They get set aside, and there's kind of a chance during each scenario that you could draw the card that brings your villain into play. So if I'm playing as Spider-Man and I draw that card, then the Vulture is going to come into play, engage with me. And in addition to fighting Rhino,
I was going to say, this is an addition to the Rhino, dude?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because Vulture is Spider-Man's nemesis, and like Carol Danvers, her nemesis is Yon-Rogg. Right. I think Iron Man has Whiplash. Black Panther has Killmonger. She-Hulk has I can't remember who She-Hulk was. Titania.
Okay.
That's it. Cool. So they all have a villain who kind of has it in for them.
Just makes it even worse. Like I'm already trying to deal with Rhino, and then here comes someone else.
My personal nemesis.
Can you wait like 10 minutes because I'm already in the middle of doing something?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So
okay.
If you draw that card, then your villain's going to come into play, and you've now got another thing.
Great.
And,
those guys suck. Okay. And so, like, how does this game differ from, like, other LCGs? Like, what makes it stand out among the LCG world?
Sure. So we have, our LCGs kind of fall into two categories. We have the cooperative LCGs and the competitive LCGs.
Cool. Okay.
as a cooperative LCG, I think this one is probably going to be compared the most with the other cooperatives, so Lord of the Rings LCG and Arkham Horror LCG.
Awesome.
I think the biggest difference is we kind of, since this is the third one, we've learned quite a bit from working on those two games, and we've been able to streamline the experience quite a bit. So that makes it, it makes it easier to get into, easier to learn. I think this one, it also, because of kind of the comic influence, there's things that make this game a little bit more fast-paced.
Oh, that's cool.
It's kind of, I guess you could think about the difference between reading a comic book and reading a novel. Reading a comic book, the action is going to advance a lot faster. Whereas like Lord of the Rings, you're kind of going to have like these long beard stroking turns, and some players like that. So, but it's a different type of experience.
Oh, so they have that in the Lord of the Rings game too.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yep.
I like that.
So, and yeah, I think the other thing, the difference between this and Lord of the Rings, you're playing as a set. Like three heroes at once, whereas this one you really get that sense of role playing. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing.
That's super cool.
And this game also has a completely different resource and card management system.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what's the resource system looking like?
So so the resources, and this was designed to help make the game play really quickly. So every card. Every player card has a resource at the bottom, and there are different types. So there's physical resources, energy resources, and mental resources.
Okay.
And when I have a hand of cards, part of what I'm going to be doing is determining whether or not I want to play the card for its ability or use it as a resource. Okay. So this is a 4-cost card. To play it, I'm going to have to discard 4 of these resources.
I see.
This one has 2, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I just discard those and play that. And this is designed to really get the players to play as many cards as they can each turn, keep the game moving forward, because at the end of your turn you're just going to draw back up to whatever your character's hand size is.
Right, so do you have an unlimited amount of actions that you can make?
Yeah, as long as you have the cards in play and the resources to play them, you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. And then what are some of these? What do these mean?
So these are just all the tokens and trackers.
Yep.
So we have damage tokens, 3s, 5s, and 1s. These are going to go on allies and minions. But as a hero, my health is going to be tracked by this dial.
And then this is the villain one?
And that one is for the villain.
Yes.
So that's all for tracking health.
The turning is so fun. it's terrible. I could do this all day. Okay. All right, so these are tracking health. These are tracking damage. What are these ones?
These are threat. So what the villain's going to be doing in the game is trying to get through his main scheme.
Okay.
This scheme is going to need 7 threat per player to advance. So
that seems like a lot.
Yeah,
is it a lot?
It can be. Okay. It's probably middle of the road.
Middle of the road?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So as the villain does various things to make progress on his scheme, he's going to put threat on it. And in a 2-player game, if he got up to 14, it would advance. And since this is the first scenario, it's just a 1-stage scheme. So we want to beat him before he beats us. But some of the other scenarios, they have multiple scheme stages that he's going to be moving through.
Whew. All right. And then what are these green dudes?
The green ones. So these are all-purpose tokens. They don't have a specific function in the game, but they're going to be used with different card abilities. One example is Spider-Man's Web Slinger. Let me find that card really quick. There it is. Here's the web shooter.
Nice.
So this card has 3 uses. So when it comes into play, I will put the 3 on it, and that's kind of representing his web fluid.
However many uses you've got.
Yeah, and then I could use the card 3 times. I'll use these to track down. Mm-hmm. When it's out, the card goes away, and I'll have to play another copy of it to use it more. Okay. So there's a bunch of different cards in the game that you use the all-purpose counters on to represent different things.
And then what's this one? This one looks fancy.
Yeah, this is a bad token.
Oh, no. It looks so fancy. I was like, that's got to be good. It's not.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, what is it?
So it is. It's going to accelerate the rate at which the villain is advancing his scheme, and it's going to basically every time you go through the encounter deck, you're going to be putting one of these out there, and it's going to.
It's making things more tense.
Yeah, it's kind of making the game go faster and faster. So you kind of got to eventually move forward, or else time's going to catch up to you.
Those are scary.
Yep.
Okay, avoiding those. Wait, what's this one? This one's great.
That's
is like a cool. What is
yeah,
this?
that's the first player token. So
oh, that's what this is.
yeah, it's kind of going to
cool.
be when you're the first player of the round, you're going to take that and get to
I
start things off
personally
and
love yelling exclamation points. So
Oh,
this
yeah.
is like I would just keep it the whole time.
All right.
I mean, I guess you have to pass it, but like it's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they kind of like I said, the graphic designers they did a great job. At
Yeah, they did
kind of
fantastic.
capturing the
The game straight up looks like a comic.
comics,
Like it
yeah.
literally looks like you ripped pages out of a comic, and then here's the game.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is a great feat.
Yep.
So this is a cooperative game.
Mhm.
In fact, actually, like, what are some of the aspects of the game that highlight the cooperativeness?
The
of
cooperation,
the game?
yeah. So,
Cooperation. Yes.
so we're gonna be working together.
Okay.
You, as a group, we're either gonna win together or lose together. So we
Right.
have no real incentives to go
To,
off
like,
and do our own thing.
yeah.
We're a team and we're in it. We're in it together.
In it to
So
win.
basically, there's a few things. I think the first one is probably there's a core mechanic that when it is your turn, you can ask other players to help you out with their actions.
Okay.
So a good example of that is Carol Danvers' ability, which it reads, action, choose a player to draw one card, limit once per round. So if I was taking my turn and I realized I didn't have the cards I need to do what I want, I could ask you, hey, could you help me out with your commander ability?
Absolutely.
And then you could use your Carol Danvers and help me out. So there's it kind of that mechanic encourages players to work together, and I can't force you to use that. If you
Right.
needed it for what you were going to do on your turn, you could.
Yeah, I was gonna
we
say
could-
this is it says limit once per round.
Yep.
So that's like all the way around.
Yep.
So like if for some reason I had like a whole plan that I was gonna do on my turn that involves that card, that would probably be the only reason maybe not to
Yeah,
let
yep.
you have it. But it's not like to sabotage you. It's just like I already also have a plan.
Yeah, and we'd be able to talk through our plan and figure out
Exactly.
how we wanted to do it, and
Make
kind
sure
of.
everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, and then coordinating with that, like we're trying to do a bunch of different things out here, such as we're going against
Yeah, absolutely.
Rhino.
You got Rhino, you
gotta
got side
stop the
schemes, you
break-in,
got
and he's put out bomb scares, and
other
maybe
villains
Vulture might be in play.
making
so then
things
it's
worse,
like,
yeah.
Then we got to talk about what do we want to focus on this turn. Are we going to go after Rhino, or should I deal with Vulture?
Mm-hmm.
And different villains will be like Vulture could be engaged with me, and but you'd be able to attack them, or maybe you have enemies that came out and are engaged with you, and we could. You're like, I'm getting buried here, so we got to work on this. So we're
Do you have to fight those before you fight Rhino?
not always.
Like, is it possible to defeat Rhino with that dude still like kicking
Yeah.
you in a corner? Or
Yep.
whatever?
Yeah. So if we get to if I let too many build up, it's probably not going to be good for me.
Probably
But
not
if Rhino, if we've almost defeated Rhino and it's just going to take a couple more hits to take him down, we could just be like, okay, let's just beat Rhino and then
Okay,
we'll win the
cool,
game.
cool, cool.
But there are some. Let me
That are
find.
like,
Yeah. Let me find
Gotta
one
kill
as
me
an
before you kill
example.
the big guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope he's in this deck. There he is.
Oh, yeah, you found him.
The Hydra Mercenary, he has the guard keyword, and guard just says, well, this minion is engaged with you, you cannot attack the villain. So these guys, they'll come out and they'll engage directly with you.
Yeah, no.
And then you've got to, they're protecting the villain. You've got to
No,
get through them
yikes.
first before you can
You
make
suck. Go home.
it. And there are some side schemes too that kind of do the same thing with the main scheme. So it's this crisis icon. While the scheme is in play, you cannot remove threat from the main scheme. So kind of in a similar way, this is the innocents are in danger. It's the crowd control card. We have to, before we can really worry about the break-in, we got to
Gotta
get
deal with all the other
the people
dudes.
out of the danger zone. So
That makes sense.
yeah.
And honestly, this game looks like it's like done. Like, what is the release model gonna look like?
Yeah, so this is kind of it's a press copy, and we don't have our shipments yet, but
Right.
the game's going to come out in October.
Cool.
As a release model, this is the core
Pretty much
set.
it.
This is the
Okay.
entry point.
Alright.
It's $59.95 for the game, and it's a complete game for 1 to 4 players. Has all the cards you need to play any of the 5 heroes. Full play set of cards. So.
Okay. What are some like future
Future
goals
expansions.
for the game?
Yeah. So expansions, there are 3 different types of expansions. We
Okay.
have hero packs, scenario packs, and campaign boxes.
Cool.
The hero pack is and generally an expansion a month. An expansion a month is our general general release model for an LCG.
Okay.
So the hero packs, every pack will introduce a new hero to the game.
Nice.
And there will be a playable deck right in that pack. You could open the pack and play right out of that one pack of cards without any customization or anything else. You just buy that hero and you can play.
Ready to go.
So the first two of those have been announced. Captain America and Ms. Marvel are the first two hero packs.
Neat.
Then we have the second kind of smaller expansion is the standalone scenarios. These are more bad guys and schemes to fight against. Every one of these is also you buy it and
More
you can play it with any of your heroes. So the first two of those, the first one was a Green Goblin pack, and then we also announced a Wrecking Crew pack.
Oh, tight. Okay.
And then the final type of expansion is kind of the larger campaign box expansion. These are going to be a series of linked scenarios that if you play them in order, they'll kind of take you on a
That's cool, like story.
take you on a story. Yeah.
Oh, that's tight.
And
cool.
there'll be a couple heroes in each of those campaign boxes that kind of really make sense as being a part of that story
that
as
sounds
well.
awesome.
But
so
you
you're like
can
building upon the heroes that you already got too.
Yep. Yeah, you can also play any of the existing heroes in those campaigns too.
Can you be Shuri?
Can
you tell me? You might not be allowed to tell me. That's totally cool if you can't tell me.
Right now, Shuri is an ally, and she's in the Black Panther pack. One thing, though, that I should point out is that just because a character is an ally, it doesn't mean they will not one day also be a hero of themselves. So,
loophole.
Yeah, there are rules. So, like,
holding out hope for sure.
Yeah, let me show you.
Yeah, what are some of the allies looking like? Who are some of these allies?
So we have Spider-Woman as an ally.
Cool.
And
cool.
underneath her, Jessica Drew is her subtitle. So this will kind of be.
Is that her alter ego?
Yeah, that's her alter ego.
Okay, cool.
So this is kind of a forward-looking thing for when we want to do some of the cards who are allies as heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if I'm playing as Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew hero, you wouldn't be able to play this card as an ally because it's kind of the same character. So then you just have to use it as a resource if someone else had it in their deck. So it's kind of
So we got Spider-Woman. Who are some of the other allies? I'm curious.
So there's
is there like a deck of allies, or are they just like
they're all mixed into the the existing decks. So let's see, who do we have here?
I seriously can't get over this art. I've been reading a whole lot of comics lately, and it's just amazing.
So
very into this art.
We have Black Cat for Spider-Man.
Oh, who's Black Cat? What the heck?
She's a friend of Spider-Man, one of the heroes for hire.
Cool.
And yeah, she's in Spider-Man's deck.
She looks real scary. I'm not gonna fight her at all. Not at all.
Yeah, let's see. So Nick Fury.
Right, Fury.
Yeah, he's one of the basic cards. So he can show up in any hero's deck.
That's cool.
We have Jessica Jones. She's one of the Justice allies.
Oh, nice.
Daredevil.
Cool. These are like all familiar people. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, and then there's some.
I like how the picture of Jessica Jones is just her and her phone pissed. Like if everyone else is like someone doing an action shot, and Jessica's just on her phone, pissed off.
Yeah, it's kind of her detective,
That's exactly
detective
her.
mode. So.
That's exactly. Yeah. That's
Mockingbird is a spy.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, and there's
And there are different. Are there different allies per hero pack?
Yeah. Each hero has their own
group
kind
of allies.
their own set of allies. But then there's also so there's both hero-specific cards that only the hero can use,
right.
And then there's aspect cards.
Right,
I haven't talked a whole lot about aspects yet.
Yeah, let's talk about the aspect cards.
So aspects, there are 4 different aspects in the game.
Okay.
And basically part of how you can start playing, you pick a hero and then you pick an aspect and you put those two together,
cool.
And then you've got a deck that's good to go.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the aspects they're kind of like classes or spheres that heroes can focus on. Okay. They represent kind of the, I guess, heroic attributes.
You have that Hulk card right there, and you talked about classes, and the first thing I thought was what if we had a Hulk bard, and he just sings very aggressively at you? That'd be hilarious. Yeah. But obviously it's not that, but
no.
that would be hilarious.
Yep. So this is the aggression aspect,
okay,
and
cool.
That's why Hulk is in it. So aggression
makes
is if I want to play a hero that's really good at going after the villain and taking him down, I'm going to play with aggression, and then I will use the aggression cards with the hero cards
kick him in the face.
Form my deck.
Is there was that web kick one? Is that an aggression?
That was one of Spider-Man's cards.
Yeah, but that's one of his. They're the same type of card, aspect card.
No.
Oh no, dang.
No, it's just an attack. It's a hero specific card. So yeah, the other aspects then we have
a finesse aspect.
Yeah, yep. We have Justice. That's for heroes that are really good at stopping the schemes and the side schemes.
Rad.
Protection is one of the ones still in the box.
Oh, it's still in the box?
Yeah, there's a
Oh,
bunch
it's like
of cards still there.
okay.
Yeah, we could open it and look at
we
it
could.
too. Yeah.
I don't have any fingernails, but I can give it a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I'll try.
Actually, they might. I think. Oh, here. I've got these over here too.
Yeah, I haven't had fingernails since like 1995, so
okay.
I don't know if I can open this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think those are the other scenarios. So,
okay.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I see Rhino on it.
Yeah, we can go through these. So here's the rest.
He
of the
is so
She-Hulk
creepy
cards.
looking. I'm looking at him close up. He is so creepy looking. He just has a human face, but also a rhino face at the same time. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So these are the cards for Iron Man, She-Hulk, and Black Panther.
Okay, neat.
Then we have the Justice.
Pepper Potts, is she like an ally?
She
Support?
is a support card. So we did one thing with kind of some of the more behind the scenes characters like Pepper Potts,
Yep.
Aunt May, characters who aren't going to be on the front line
Right.
fighting the villain.
Right.
We did them as support cards, so they're kind of they're helping you, but they're not going out and
That's
fighting.
cool. You got like
so,
everybody involved then.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, he's building up the suit. Right, you're telling me the Iron Man is to build up the suit.
Yep.
I think that's a really interesting aspect. Like, he can't just like jump in as Iron Man already. He's got to build his suit from scratch, and then he can like start fighting and going.
Yeah. So like I was saying, each character has their own play style. So that's part
That's so
of.
cool.
You're going to spend a little time as Tony Stark before you come
Before
out
you
as
become
Iron
as
Man.
Iron Man,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
What does Peter Parker have to do that too? Does he have to like go to school and then come out as Spider-Man or something?
No, Peter Parker can. He's he can change pretty quickly.
Cool.
When he is in Peter Parker form, it has a scientist ability that he can
Right.
generate mental resources. So
Right,
if you're kind of like if you want to build up a little bit, you can use the ability to help you, but you don't have to.
You don't have to do it.
Yeah, you don't have to do it in the same way that Tony Stark has
found
to build
Shuri.
the suit first.
Very
Yep.
pleased. Very pleased about Shuri. Cool. I like how it just says genius.
Yeah, that's her. That's just the trait. All characters have traits. Genius is a really popular trait in Marvel. There's quite a few.
Awesome. Geniuses. Ancestral knowledge. This is so cool. Sorry, all these cards are so interesting and the art is so cool. I just like looking at it. I could just look at it for like hours. There's the vibranium. This is neat. Awesome. Is there anything else? Did we forget anything else about the game? What else is going on here? We got the lives, the damage, the first player token, the aspects.
There's
We
these.
had a mess. I'm sorry about the mess.
Oh,
we
no
made.
worries. Yeah. So we could talk about these.
Oh, I didn't even see those. Yeah, what are those?
Yeah, these are status counters. So these are things that could happen to heroes or villains during a fight. So
Okay.
there's three statuses. The first is the tough status. When this has them kind of armoring up, and
Okay.
when you get a tough token, if you would take any damage, you discard the tough token, so it'll protect you
So
instead.
it's got some damage.
Yep.
Okay.
Confused and stunned are the more negative ones. So when you're confused, you're kind of
Discombobulated.
you've been hit and you don't know what's going on. So the next time that you would try to, if a villain gets it, the next time he would try to advance his scheme, you discard this instead.
Okay.
If I was a hero, the next time I tried to take threat off of a scheme, the next time I tried to do a
discard
scheme
that
thing, I
instead.
discard this.
Okay.
And then stunned is kind of similar, but it prevents you from attacking. So if I get a stun token, I have to get rid of the stun token
Before
I can attack again. And
Okay.
the villain, it kind of works the same way. So they just track common effects that happen in the game.
All right, that's cool. Let's look and see if there's anything else we forgot.
Yeah, we could talk about the tray a little bit.
Psych
It's kind of
Mantra. Oh yeah, I'm super into this insert. This is also me, just like as a fellow game developer. This is a great insert. I love it.
yeah, it's a new innovation for this.
Love
This is the first LCG that has a tray like this. So
I have no idea how to get it on camera, but it's great. Trust me.
Yeah, we could probably just maybe
Turn it. It's
show
got
it
little
there.
slots for all the
Yep.
cards.
Yeah, so you can put dividers in here and keep your cards separated however you see fit.
Awesome.
Has wells for the just for the packing of the decks,
Awesome.
and yeah.
It's nice looking, very nice. Box looks good. We've got more tokens here. Okay. Anything else? I feel like I've learned a lot about this game.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of the basics.
This is pretty great.
Yeah.
This is just a card game. Are there ever going to be like minis?
Not for this game.
No, not for this one?
No.
Just put like a little.
Yep. We do have playmats though.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we've released, I think.
Those are already out, or they're coming out?
We've
when the
announced
game
them.
comes out?
Yeah,
Cool.
we've announced them.
Are they going to be like hero specific or like location specific or both and everything?
Heroes.
Hero
Yeah,
specific?
yeah.
That's neat. Well, I'm excited.
Cool.
I'm probably going to check it out. And then
yeah.
you're just playtesting it at Gen Con this year? Cause
yeah,
in October?
We're demoing it. We're demoing it in our booth. If anyone's interested, stop by the FFG booth and check it out.
What's your booth number?
I do not.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Do you have like a big sign? On top of your booth?
Fantasy Flight booth.
Great.
You'll be
Look
able to
for
find
the
it.
Fantasy Flight Games sign. We don't know the number, but you can find it, I'm sure. Okay. Cool. Well, I feel good.
Cool.
I learned. You taught, and we had fun.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Nice chilling with you guys / the internet. I don't know who I'm talking to anymore. What's up? Am I still on stream? Probably.